Hey Bronze Brigade, welcome back to an episode of Top 5 Not to Buy. This is the show where I look at all three major hot comic book lists out there, and I pick the 5 worst investments in my opinion, and then we track the prices on those comic books 6 months and 1 year later. Speaking of which, I've got a lot of those to make. I owe you guys a few of those episodes, and they are coming soon. Alright, let's get to the first book on the list. This is Wonder Woman Historia, the Amazons #1. So this is all because of a James Gunn tweet, and it's most likely going to be similar to what we saw with All-Star Superman. He's apparently praising this series in a tweet. Look, anytime you see this storyline based spec where it's, going to be adapted into a movie and it's not a key character appearance, but more of a look or feel or something along those lines, I don't have any faith in it. I think that we're in a very troubling time if you're talking about comic book values when it comes to adaptations to film and TV shows. And so especially do something with like just an aesthetic type thing, it's really, really thin. And speaking of that, that brings us to the #2 pick on the list, which is Avengers 35. And because it's Marvel, we have to specify which Avengers we're talking about. This is the one from 2014. Now, this book actually has a few key things going on with it. It has the first appearance on the cover of Sam Wilson as Captain America. It's also the first cover appearance of Superior Iron Man and his second cameo appearance. But the real reason this lands on the list is because there are speculative rumors that Doctor Strange 3 will involve parts of this storyline to help explain the multiverse and the situation going on with the multiverse of things in the MCU. Problem is, there isn't really much evidence to go on here that I can see that this is actually going to work out that way, and I have a feeling that this book it's sort of just like creating spec to find new spec. If it pays off, awesome, but that's going to be such a long burn, especially with the strikes going on right now, between now and anything that could happen. I guarantee this book's going to dip between now and the time that it's going to peak in value if any of these rumors pan out to be true. All right, next up for the next book on the list, let's talk about a cover buy situation. This is Alpha Flight Fall of X #1, the 1 in 50 Arthur Adams variant. Now, Arthur Adams covers do tend to go for quite a bit of money, especially when he draws women. However, there's just something about this cover. I'm not saying it's bad, really. Snowbird has always been kind of a strange character, and I do enjoy me some Alpha Flight, but this doesn't really seem to be his best work. And look, I'm all for a good cheesecake cover. You guys know that. So when I see something like this, I feel like I can pretty comfortably say I don't think this is going to capture people's imaginations for very long. Although Arthur Adams fans do tend to like a lot of his work, but I just don't see this one having the staying power, and I bet you it's going to fall off pretty fast. For the #2 pick on the list, we're going to talk a bit about the mentality of spec eating its own tail, and this comes in the form this week of Batman Damned #1. For those unfamiliar, Batman Damned was a prestige format book, and it's a kind of a magazine size format book, almost like a graphic novel that's a little bit larger. And Batman Damned #1 was probably most infamous for featuring the Batwang. And no, that's not me joking. I mean, seriously, that's what's up with this book. There's a shot that you can't unsee once you see it. But really the deal is, I talked about this on the last Top 5 Not to Buy. There's this whole Spider-Man Reign thing where you get to see Spider-Man's. Look, why are we so obsessed with superhero sex organs? Is this a Kevin Smith movie? All right, I admit I look a little like Silent Bob sometimes, and I probably could talk less, but this isn't a Kevin Smith movie. So there's this whole superhero penis obsession that's going on right now. I really don't see that having any staying power. Now, Batman Damned has kind of always had a premium, so keep that in mind. When we're talking about this book, I think of it as being, a $15 to $20 book most of the time. I haven't really looked that up, but that's just kind of my vague awareness of what the price is. We'll see if I'm right when I do my price checks. So I don't think this book is going to drop to cover price or anything like that. I don't think it's really going to settle at a high new floor, but it had a decent buy-in before. It has a slightly elevated buy-in now. Why buy it? I just don't see anybody caring about the bat penis in 2 weeks. I just don't see it. I'm so tired of talking about genitalia. Which brings us to the #1 spot on the list, Infinite Crisis #5. This is the 2006 series that features the first full appearance and cover appearance of the Blue Beetle, Jaime Reyes. And just allow me to say that I genuinely hope that this character has success because of this movie that's come out this weekend. And I actually really wanted to go see it. I had a small window of opportunity to go watch it, and I didn't make it to the movie, but I really do want to see it. It might take me a while to watch it now, but I really want to check it out. I have faith that it's a good movie. I just think that this character isn't really going to take off because of it in the way that everybody might have hoped. If this was a full-fledged DC film in James Gunn's universe, I know technically it's been retroactively made canon to that universe, I guess. So to me, what hurts this the most is the DC universe, when it comes to their cinematic universe, is in shambles right now. It's nothing that comes out that isn't the new James Gunn Superman movie and the stuff he's going to tell in the universe after that. None of this stuff is doing any kind of numbers at the box office. And what I mean by that, because they're all making millions of dollars, but what I mean by that is they're all doing lower than the projections or the expectations for these films. That includes Black Adam, The Flash. They've all kind of had that going on. It's just proven that nobody cares about the current state of these DC movies. I really wonder about Aquaman 2 and some of the other projects that are the Elseworlds of things now, as James Gunn is going to call it, with some of the old Snyderverse stuff being carried over. We really need that first James Gunn Superman movie to come out to see what DC is going to be going forward. And until that happens, I feel like this stuff isn't going to be worth that much money. I definitely agree with Ben's write-up over in the CBSI article for this issue, which would be that this is probably the time to sell this book. I agree with that one. Now, it's a cool character and all that, but he's probably going to come back into some later DCU film. But when that happens, you'll have another opportunity to go pick up the book before. And I have a feeling it'll be at a lower price than it is now. Thank you for watching along as I discussed the list for this week. I really appreciate it. I do also appreciate all my channel members, whose names are going to scroll by on the screen right now. If you want to consider becoming a channel member, there is that join button down below, and it helps me out quite a bit. What speculation comic books are you interested in picking up this week? I also want to hear about that. If you could let me know in the comments, I would really appreciate that. And then, are there any on the list this week that you disagree with my logic on? I'm sure you'll love to tell me about that. Now, I genuinely love hearing all these different kinds of comments. It really helps me stay informed with what you guys think is going on with speculation in comic books. And here's to the few people that are going to inevitably chime in saying speculation is ruining comic book collecting, and the other kind of comments I'll get based on this. Hey, I don't necessarily disagree with you, but what I do think is that somebody should be making videos talking about the other side of the comic book speculation, and there's a couple of us out there that do that, and I feel like we're really helping people control the FOMO and not buy into the hot list too much and look at them with a specific point of view. And hopefully that helps people look at the speculation list with a different perspective. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I just want to remind you, as always, hey, 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 hey. Read comics every day.